It's finally revealed. At 60, Barry Bonds isn't hiding anymore. What we all suspected turns out to be true. Barry Bonds was already a legend before anyone whispered the word steroids. By 1998, he had hit 374 home runs and stolen 417 bases. He won 2 MVP awards with Pittsburgh. He earned 3 Gold Gloves. The man was on a clear path to the Hall of Fame based on talent alone. But what came after changed everything forever. Look at the transformation. Before 1998, Bonds averaged 31 home runs per season. After 1998, nearly 39 per season. His batting average jumped from 288 to 322. His on-base percentage soared from 408 to 511. His slugging percentage exploded from 551 to 712. At age 37, when most players decline, Bonds hit 73 home runs. That's not normal aging. That's not natural improvement. That's something else entirely. The Bay Area Laboratory Cooperative made it all possible. BALCO wasn't just selling vitamins and supplements. Victor Conti built a sophisticated network of designer drugs that couldn't be detected by standard testing. He worked with chemist Patrick Arnold to create substances like tetrahydrogestrinone, nicknamed the Clear. This steroid was 10 times more powerful than anything testers knew about at the time. They also developed the Cream. This testosterone mixture was designed to build muscle and trim fat without triggering positive drug tests. Add in human growth hormone, EPO for oxygen transport, and modafinil to sharpen reflexes, and you have a complete doping program. All undetectable, all carefully timed in cycles to maximize benefits while minimizing detection risks. The whole sophisticated operation came crashing down in 2003. Sprint coach Trevor Graham anonymously sent a syringe containing traces of THG to the U.S. Anti-Doping Agency. Dr. Don Catlin at UCLA had to develop an entirely new test just to identify the designer steroid. When they retested existing samples, 20 out of 550 came back positive for the previously unknown substance. Bonds got caught directly in the federal investigation. In December 2003, he was subpoenaed to testify before a grand jury. He admitted using a clear substance and a cream that he received from his personal trainer, Greg Anderson. But Bonds claimed he thought they were merely flaxseed oil and arthritis balm. He insisted Anderson had lied to him about what the substances really were.
One person who's not able to be here is Greg Anderson. If he happens to be watching TV right now, is there a message you'd like to send out to him?
Why are we in that conversation?
Looking around, there's a lot of people
just another negative question. I'm not going to get into that.
Nobody bought that story for a second. The evidence kept mounting against him. Anderson had been secretly recorded in conversations about supplying Bonds with performance-enhancing substances. Bonds' former mistress, Kimberly Bell, testified about dramatic physical changes she witnessed: hair loss, severe acne, violent mood swings, impotence. His former business partner, Steve Hoskins, said Bonds specifically asked about steroids after a 1999 elbow injury. The most damaging testimony came from Kathy Hoskins, Steve's sister and Bonds' personal shopper. She testified under oath that she personally watched Greg Anderson inject Bonds with a substance in 2002. That testimony directly contradicted everything Bonds had said in his grand jury appearance. Chemist Patrick Arnold, who developed the Clear, stated his belief that Bonds had knowingly taken the designer steroid. Prosecutors tried to introduce BALCO log sheets showing Bonds testing positive for steroids in November 2000. But the documents were ruled inadmissible due to authentication issues. In November 2007, federal prosecutors indicted Bonds on 4 counts of perjury and 1 count of obstruction of justice. The legal case dragged on for years. Anderson steadfastly refused to testify against his longtime friend. He spent a total of 14 months in jail for contempt rather than cooperate with authorities. During his 2011 trial, the jury couldn't reach agreement on the perjury charges, but they found Bonds guilty of obstruction of justice for giving evasive answers. His specific crime? When asked if Anderson ever gave him anything requiring injection, Bonds rambled about friendship and fishing instead of answering directly. Even that single conviction got overturned in 2015. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals ruled that his non-responsive answer wasn't material to the investigation. Bonds was legally cleared of all charges. But public opinion never changed at all. Polls revealed massive racial divides in how people viewed Bonds. Only 17% of white respondents held favorable opinions of him, while 55% viewed him unfavorably. When asked about drug use, 80% of white respondents believed Bonds probably used steroids, compared to 55% of other racial groups. The polling data suggests race played a significant role in amplifying criticism against him. Watching Barry Bonds was like seeing history rewritten in real time. And if you love baseball, even controversial baseball, FUBO lets you catch every moment live. Whether it's today's stars or throwbacks from the past, Fubo has every pitch, every inning, wherever you are. Never miss the action that defines America's pastime. Bonds' personality problems made everything significantly worse. Even in college, teammates openly called him rude, inconsiderate, and self-centered. Former Pirates clubhouse staff described him as a spoiled child who pouted when he wasn't the center of attention. He refused to socialize with teammates outside the stadium. Later, he had his own television and massage chair in the clubhouse, while teammates shared communal space. His relationship with the media was consistently toxic. Interviews regularly became tense confrontations filled with skipped questions and hostile responses. He was constantly peppered with steroid allegations, especially during his pursuit of Hank Aaron's home run record. The tension created a cycle of mutual antagonism. He rarely signed autographs for fans, which further damaged his public image. Chipper Jones told a story about Bonds repeatedly putting him off when he asked for signed baseballs. First, Bonds told him to come back during batting practice, then seemingly rejected him again. Jones felt deliberately disrespected by a fellow superstar. The autograph situation became even more problematic. Sources suggest Bonds only started appearing at paid autograph shows when he allegedly needed untraceable cash to purchase a house for his mistress. Suddenly, the man who wouldn't sign for children was happy to sign for money. Bonds' exclusion from the Hall of Fame demonstrates how his reputation completely destroyed his legacy. Despite 762 career home runs, 7 MVP awards, and unprecedented statistical dominance, he never received the required 75% of votes for induction. His highest total was 66% in his final year of eligibility in 2022. The Contemporary Baseball Era Committee also rejected him with only 4 votes. The Hall of Fame criteria explicitly include integrity, sportsmanship, character, alongside playing ability and statistical achievements. Voters consistently decided Bonds failed that crucial character test. His unparalleled statistical dominance couldn't overcome the steroid allegations and personality problems that defined his public image. Bonds argues that Major League Baseball had no explicit rules against performance-enhancing drugs during his peak years. He points out that he was ultimately vindicated on all criminal charges. He questions why the Hall of Fame should impose additional punishment when the legal system cleared him of wrongdoing. But perception matters far more than legal technicalities. The disconnect between Bonds' natural talent and his alleged methods creates an incredibly complex legacy. Nobody seriously thinks he was terrible without steroids. He was already recognized as one of the 5 best contact hitters in baseball history. His exceptional timing, hand-eye coordination, and pitch recognition were elite skills that steroids couldn't directly create or enhance. What the performance-enhancing drugs likely provided was extended longevity, faster recovery between games, and significantly added power. They probably turned warning track fly balls into home runs. They likely extended his peak performance well into his late 30s, when most players experience natural decline. The steroids enhanced an already extraordinary talent rather than creating greatness from nothing. That important nuance gets completely lost in public debate. People see the unprecedented numbers and assume the drugs made him great. The reality is far more complicated than that simple narrative suggests. Bonds was already headed to the Hall of Fame before any alleged PED use began. The substances may have pushed him from great to historically unprecedented levels. In 2016, Bonds finally showed genuine self-awareness about his image problems. He publicly called himself a dumbass and admitted being straight stupid in his media relationships. He said the negative portrayal was never something he really wanted. He expressed sincere regret about how he handled the immense pressure and expectations placed on him. But the heartfelt apology came far too late. the damage was already permanently done. Bonds told an revealing story about attempting to change his approach during his Giants years. When he tried to be nice and cooperative with reporters, his on-field performance actually suffered. His teammates specifically told him they wanted the old Barry back. This suggests his difficult personality was somehow psychologically connected to his competitive success. At 60, Bonds continues speaking more openly about his controversial past. He's essentially confirming what many suspected all along. The substances weren't innocent supplements. The attitude wasn't just competitive fire. The physical transformation wasn't natural aging in reverse. The legal system may have ultimately cleared Barry Bonds, but the court of public opinion reached a completely different verdict years ago. His statistical achievements remain permanently in the record books. His Hall of Fame case remains definitively closed. His legacy remains forever complicated. Barry Bonds will always be one of the greatest players to ever step on a baseball field. But greatness without trust creates a record nobody wants to hold.